Smash balance patches are good, actually. Kinda. You see, back in the distant past, a strange ancestor of present-day humans used to roam the earth. These were called brawl players, and if a brawl player's favorite character was terrible, they just kind of accepted they were in for like a decade of suffering. But thankfully, those dark times are over. Nowadays, we live in a society where if you complain enough on Twitter, Nintendo just might hear and inject your main with steroids. The past couple years have brought some huge and awesome buffs. They also brought a whole lot of garbage ones that did absolutely nothing, but yeah, some awesome buffs. So I figured, for a couple of videos, why not turn back time once again with my extremely legal Vanilla Smash Ultimate emulator and take a close look at the characters who were blessed by Sakurai to become a whole lot spicier. Now real quick, before we start, today's video is sponsored by the coldest water bottle, which is a bottle that keeps your water cold. I know that because they sent me one, and yes, it keeps my water cold. Now is it really the coldest water bottle? I don't know. That's a pretty bold claim, but it's the coldest one I've tried and nobody sued them yet, so I think it's a pretty good bet. Anyway, if you want a bottle that'll keep you refreshed during, let's say, hours of sweaty Elite Smash tryharding, click the link below to check out their store. Plus, use coupon code WhyDo to get 10% off your order, support my channel, and nothing else. But I just want to say, I'm really happy I got my own coupon code now. It's really cool. So first off, I'd like to talk about Dr. Mario, and I know he's still definitely not the best character to try and win tournaments with, but to me, he's the model of what fun, meaningful buffs should look like. Basically, the Balance team started by getting together and writing down Dr. Mario's entire design philosophy. Mario, but pissed off. And after hours of deep thought and a spark of true genius, someone stood up and said, "Hey, why don't we just make him more pissed off?" And then, of course, everybody started clapping, and the rest is history. Look at down air. In vanilla, this move only hits for 1/30th of a second, 2 frames. To show you how short that is, I'm gonna flash Dr. Mario's angry face on the screen for 2 frames. There. Now, that's actually not too awful for a powerful spike, but if you think about it, it's supposed to be one of the only things that makes Dr. Mario feel different from not Dr. Mario. So, not too awful just wasn't good enough. You never really got to see this move used, and I always found that kinda sad. Luckily, the developers agreed, as one of 5 buffs he received in January 2020, down air got kinda stretched out in time. They doubled its duration to 4 beautiful frames. I'm actually gonna flash an even angrier Dr. Mario on the screen for 4 frames now. And yeah, that just makes it so much more practical to land in real matches. Honestly, nowadays it feels like this man has magnets in his boots or something, because it's basically twice as easy to meteor people. And on top of that, Doc has always had his classic Super Sheet and Dr. Tornado for edgeguarding, so now, with the Dare buff, you have 3 separate, very scary ways to blow people up off stage, which I think is important, because once Dr. Mario is knocked off stage, well, much like all those patients he prescribed puzzle-based alternative medicine, he will not be making a full recovery. So I think it's only fair he should have lots of ways to kill people early off stage and give everybody else a taste of their own edgeguarding options. And he actually got a couple other buffs which helped make that happen. His forward tilt and nair got powered up, they do a lot of damage now, and they're both pretty easy to hit moves that send horizontally, which means it's even more likely that you'll knock people off stage into positions where the down air buff matters. So just those 3 changes alone make Dr. Mario's game plan feel way more complete and fun and just not garbage. But you know what was garbage? Dr. Mario's old down tilt. This thing was one unfortunate move, and it just didn't work. It didn't combo after low percent, it didn't kill, the range wasn't great, it was simply not good, and it didn't really have a place in his moveset. And it's especially unfortunate because Dr. Mario is supposed to have better moves than Plumber Mario, right? When your movement speed is slower than most real-life doctors, you need something to make up for that. But Mario is just so much faster in the air than Dr. Mario that he used to get way more true combos from down tilt, meaning that Mario's version of the move outclassed Dr. Mario's in every meaningful way. There was no justice for Dr. Mario. But thankfully, the move got one heck of a balance change. In my recent video about Pyra and Mithra, I talked about hit stun modifiers, which simply make a move stun opponents for longer. They weren't too common in Vanilla Smash Ultimate, but over the course of the patches, the Balance team has basically started slapping them on everything they can. And Dr. Mario down tilt was kind of the start of that descent into hit stun modifier madness. It got 3 whole frames of extra hit stun on top of a knockback reduction, which completely transformed the move from this boring, unrewarding poke into a disgustingly easy kill confirm into your up special, which, by the way, they also buffed. They made that up special even stronger. So this patch, they really wanted you to violate that Hippocratic Oath. Nowadays, at high percent, one down tilt means one stock, and even though that is kinda silly, it is a wild tool to have in this game. I love these buffs so much because they make Dr. Mario feel scary, like he's supposed to be. I mean, the man is pissed off. Make him play like it. And notice how few changes it actually took to accomplish that goal. Dr. Mario only got a small handful of buffs, but they all came together in a really satisfying and fun way. And that's exactly what I want from a balance patch. I don't need anything else. Like, you can waste hours trying to make a world-class cheeseburger with the perfect combination of sauces, expensive cheeses, and every topping under the sun, but none of that matters if you forget to buy the meat. In that case, congratulations, you just made yourself a worse grilled cheese sandwich. And just like that, I don't want 5 pages of patch notes that I gotta have a PhD to understand. I want buffs that actually fix problems. Buffs that just buy the meat. And as I said, Dr. Mario is, of course, not exactly the most common character in Tournament. His recovery is still a massive weakness, but he's just so much more fun to play now than he was in version 1.0.0. He finally has a real identity instead of just being a worse version of Mario, and I gotta hand it to the balance team for that. With that said, if Dr. Mario is an example of minimalism in game balance, then Diddy Kong is an example of chucking buffs at the wall and seeing what sticks. But luckily for Diddy mains, it somehow actually stuck, all the way from 2.0.0 in January 2019 to 8.0.0 in June 2020. Diddy Kong got dose after dose of maximum strength monkey steroids. And like, a lot of these changes literally did not matter at all. Like, oh cool, his right arm is briefly intangible when you stop shielding. The peanut does slightly more damage now. Way too many toppings on this balanced cheeseburger, but they did buy the meat, and that's all that matters. Because when you see players like Tweak and Aaron doing amazing things with this character, some of these changes, emphasis on some of these changes, come into play a lot. Okay, so this is your Diddy before Nair buffs, and this is your Diddy after Nair buffs. They made Nair cancel way earlier, so you can just kinda spam it. You can even combo out of Rising Nair now. And since, as a Mii Brawler player, I personally enjoy both spamming and combos, I am a spamming connoisseur, this change, of course, gets a thumbs up from me. But that is only the tip of the Diddy aerial buff iceberg. Nair and Fair got more range, which is always good. Up air got more damage and less lag. Down air got buffed. A lot of buffs here. Again, they're chucking stuff at the wall. Like, you name a move, it probably got buffed, but the aerial stuff was a big deal, because since they're buffs, up air and down air together with Nair give a very distinctive look and feel to Diddy's combo game. You've got all these spicy combo routes into and out of your aerials, especially with Banana, and I think that's a big part of what makes this character so creative. Watch any Tweak Diddy Kong montage, and you'll see how a skilled player can kind of rapidly slap these moves together in any order, like a steroid-fueled Picasso painting, and it just works. Next up is Diddy's recovery. Very simple, it goes farther. Recovery good. But actually, extra good for a character like Diddy Kong, because despite his crazy combos, he's designed to have a very methodical and consistent playstyle. He likes to steadily build up your damage, and then hit you with a banana or down tilt kill confirm at high percent. So having a bad recovery with that kind of playstyle is rough. It's like trying to carefully save money for retirement when you live next to an active volcano. You might be doing pretty good, but it can also go south very quick. So while this Diddy recovery buff might not be flashy, don't be fooled. It makes the character feel way less stressful to play, and it was a pretty important factor in the ungarbagification of Diddy Kong. And this goes hand in hand with the last set of Diddy buffs I want to mention, which is, of course, his moves actually working. So for those of you who didn't get to experience the beauty of pre-patch Diddy Kong, the thing about him is that just because you hit somebody with a move didn't mean you hit them with the move. Like, dash attack is a super important combo starter, and up smash is a super important kill move, but half the time they just didn't function properly. Diddy players basically had to plan around their moves not working. It was just a really ugly situation to be in. Obviously, nowadays, they still don't work all the time. This is
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate!
After all, but after a couple of good buffs, both dash attack and up smash are a whole lot better than they used to be, and it doesn't feel like you have to fight the game just to play this character now, which is always a good thing. So as you can see, nothing here was too crazy on its own, but when you put it all together, overall, the Diddy buffs did a really good job of taking a character that was supposed to be all about consistency and making him actually consistent, which, now that I say it like that, probably should have been true from the beginning, but hey, as I always say, every time Nintendo partially fixes a horrible game flaw, better late than never. And I didn't play Diddy at all on release. He was just not interesting to me, but since the buffs, I've spent a bunch of time with him, and truly, my heart has softened to this little roided out chimpanzee. He's a lot of fun now, and you should definitely give him a shot. If you do though, just a warning, you might want to turn off your sound, because after a while, the monkey noises, and this is just a minor complaint really, but the monkey noises do start to crush your will to live. Gameplay's great though. Finally, we have Ike, and you know, since this is the first of a couple videos where I'll be talking about my favorite buffs, I wanted to pick 3 characters that I felt captured the full range of approaches to game balance you see in Smash Ultimate. So of course, Dr. Mario represents minimalism, Diddy represents maximalism, and Ike represents stupid shit. And honestly, I loved Ike's changes so much because people on Twitter were always complaining, like, man, Ike is so boring and one-dimensional. All he does is spam his broken nair up air kill confirm to take stocks. I wish they'd nerf that and then buff other things about him. And meanwhile, Sakurai was just in the corner listening like,
are you sure about that?
So to demonstrate the full scope of what happened, I want you to picture a 2-year-old child just running around outside, holding a very sharp and dangerous knife. That's going to be your Ike. And when you see that, you go, hey, maybe that toddler shouldn't have a knife. He could hurt someone. And in fact, he does. He stabs like 15 people. So then the parent, Nintendo in this example, goes to the child and replaces the knife with a slightly smaller knife. And also a rocket launcher. Update 8.0.0, June 2020. Ike's Nair gets more knockback, which weakens its universally hated kill confirm into up air. Now I know it's very fresh in a lot of our memories, but just in case anybody was unaware of this abomination, basically there used to be this massive percent range where Ike could hit you with a Nair and you just died instantly anywhere on the stage. This led to Ike's kinda spamming Nair at every level of play, and it earned Nintendo a big fat WhyDo seal of good game design. But after the nerf, Ike's Nair is a lot more reasonable. He can still kill with Nair up air, but he has to hit you at a much more specific percent window, which makes it a lot easier to plan around and just a whole lot less frustrating in general. So for just a few brief seconds, just a few seconds reading those patch notes, it really seemed like Nintendo had successfully disarmed the toddler with a knife. But of course, that simply did not happen, because in exchange for losing that mistake of a kill confirm, Ike received some truly wild ways to obliterate stocks. First off, that Nair I talked about, making it stronger means it actually kills now at high percent, and fair is stronger too with less lag, which also leads to KOs. Down tilt keeps them closer to you, making it a scary kill confirm by the ledge, and then there's dash attack. For some reason, his dash attack is disgustingly strong now, which leads to these ridiculous KOs. And when you're fighting an Ike who knows how to use dash attack well, this move is essentially a jump scare. You're winning by a whole lot of percent, and then you see the KO screen, and then you lost. Good game, shake my hand. But all of this, all of these great tools I'm talking about, they are nothing compared to the rocket launcher. I remember when this patch hit, we were all like, oh, they made Ike's up B stronger? That's cool. Probably just by a little bit, right? Shouldn't be too good. Well, there's a lot I could say here, but instead, I'll just put the noise that Esam made.
Why?
We were so very wrong. I'm in vanilla now, and look how weak this move was. It just wasn't a kill move that people usually thought about. But the patch gave it better priority, a low angle, and most importantly, an unheard of amount of knockback. In fact, I don't believe any Smash balance patch has ever made any other move this much stronger. it completely changed the risk-reward of using Ether. Now, Ike can shield and threaten this massive kill move, and if you jump against him, Ether has super armor, so he can just eat your attacks and swat you out of the air like a mosquito. And what brings this all together is that Ike was already a character who thrived when he had you in the corner, when there was no more space for you to run away from him. And now, adding the buffs into the mix, it can feel like there is simply no escaping this very angry man who, by the way, is not on steroids. Those are all completely natural gains, and we should be proud of him for the work he put in between Brawl and Smash 4. But yeah, the corner. Moves like Nair, down tilt, and dash attack mean that one mistake in the corner can lead to dying very early. So, what do you do to escape that corner? You might try to shield, but Ike's moves do a ton of shield damage. You might try to roll, but his aerials cover roll really well. That just leaves jump or attack, and oh god, Ike did the spin move and you just died at 70. Now, obviously, Ether isn't perfect, and you can punish it pretty hard if you guess right, but it adds this threatening presence to Ike's pressure that always makes you have to second guess yourself when fighting him. It is a ridiculously good tool to have. And honestly, on many levels, buffed Ether is not okay. It is strong. But here's the thing, as awful as it feels to lose to, this is without a question one of my favorite balance changes of all time. Like seriously, I really wish the developers wouldn't shy away from giving characters stupid tools out of thin air like this, because at the end of the day, it's just fun as hell. I know so many people who wouldn't even think about touching Ike before, who picked up the character because of his broken up special and have been having a blast with him. Vanilla Ike wasn't a bad character by any means, but he always seemed a little bit bland to me. So even if, speaking from a strictly competitive perspective, it might not have been the best balanced decision to make Ike's up special a war crime, in my eyes it totally was the secret sauce he needed to become a ridiculously fun character. So you know what? I salute the balance team, who probably started out with the best intentions and ended up creating something horrifying but awesome. Kinda like the people who made those Mickey Mouse gas masks. Some say nightmarish and irresponsible, I say spicy. And that concludes my first video on the most fun buffs of Smash Ultimate. Hope you enjoyed it. I've been working on a couple other ones in case you're wondering where I've been this past month, so stay tuned for those. I did also have to do a little bit of looking inwards after seeing all my highest effort videos get surpassed by my April Fool's Ben Shapiro meme, but you know what? It's the internet. I'm just along for the ride. Big thanks to everyone who's taken it with me. So as always, subscribe, stay safe, and see you next time.